Day one, we went to Missouri, Selby Farm Horse Retirement.
Going all the way to the top. Wow. We can hang our equipment here. Go up and just pull it up to the top. This is our Airbnb for the night. Miniature ponies. Brenda just gave us a tour. That's Columbus, Missouri. And she said that they found bucket loads of arrowheads in this area when they first got here. So we're all set up, both tents up there. And all of a sudden, it looks like it just might rain. We have water here. That's potable water. And our host asked me to turn this water off.
A storm started coming, so we decided to take them down. I slept in a tent, you slept in the car. We also visited right around the corner cemetery. In the middle of the cemetery was an Indian burial mound, and there were some white graves on top. And he said that was kind of sorry, this is kind of a dark part of the American story, but we figured those graves were there either out of disrespect on purpose or ignorance. Storm never came.
No.
But the rain came the next morning.
We got to say hi to the horses.
So we got up the next morning, I dried my tent off, and then we drove to Nebraska, right?
Lake McConaughey.
We got my tent set up. We walked out on the shore of the lake, walked down to the right as far as we could. You almost stepped on a snake. Probably another garter snake, it looked like. And we found a really cool bird's egg, white egg with black speckles.
Oh, what about the tokens for the shower? There was a machine behind the bathroom that you could put in a $1 bill and get tokens. And we had $1 bill.
Between both of us.
And it gave us 2 tokens. And that ended up being just enough time.
So there's our campsite, and we're right next to the lake. And it looks like there's a storm coming in. May doesn't want her car to be damaged by a limb falling on it above our campsite. So we're just gonna hang out here for a little bit. Watch the storm come in. It's 8:25 our time, but it's 10:25 y'all's time.
You pulled up your weather app, and it was a pretty obvious storm headed directly our way. We looked up and we could see it in a distance. It was so flat. So we watched the storm come, and we watched the lightning.
One of the coolest lightning shows I've ever seen.
And we were taking pictures of the lightning strikes too.
Got some good pictures of it.
The next day was the Great Salt Lake.
And that's how straight the road is. May Tipple Shaw is driving. Say hi, mate.
Hi. We entered the western part of the country. The scenery was incredible. We went into Wyoming. We saw Elk Mountain. We picked some desert sage and lavender.
First sight of snow-capped mountains. What do you think those are? Whoa, we're in Utah. We just got hit with some kind of wind. Here's our campsite Right, this is what's around us right here. We're right smack dab out in the middle. What you see behind me are the RV sites, the campsites. We're gonna have this whole place to ourselves.
On the sand, there are only 2 campsites, and it was so hot that we
We were
tried.
on the sand. It was so hot down there. We decided to go for a walk. Smell of dead fish, dead birds everywhere.
All over the
It
place.
smelled so bad. I could smell it way too strong.
Anyway, now let's go set up our tent. Hi, May.
Hello.
So we're walking back to our car, and we noticed these rocks are really heavy. It's like volcanic rock.
So we got off the beach, got out of the shade, out of the sun.
Enjoying the shade because it's pretty hot out where we set up our tents. And here we have a barn swallow.
Hundreds of spiders.
Hundreds. Under the picnic table, so you couldn't even sit at it and put your feet under the table like you normally would. On the tables, on the rusty grill. I sat on top of the table, so my legs weren't swinging in the unknown.
So we finally had a meal, got showers, and as it got to be about 9:30, sun went down. The gentleman who worked the area said, "Oh, you all are spending the night down there? Well, the wind blows sometimes."
I said a few weeks ago or something, it was 100 miles an hour. Is that what he said?
He said it was 100 miles an hour, but it only lasted about 15 minutes. And it blew some of the RVs over, blew the tents completely off the sand. So as we walked away, I heard May say underneath her breath,
Remind me never to camp here again.
and it was right next to the road, traffic going all night.
All
And
the lights on that facility.
it was probably a salt plant. So the next day, we drove to Dark Sky.
So from there, it got really interesting.
Going west, we saw the salt flats.
That was an important part, even though we didn't stop. We got into a desert area where it was all like orange colored sand, and you could see forever and ever and ever, and there were no cars. At one point we were like up on a very high cliffside, and we could just see forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. We're gonna be in the middle of that. We got to a part where we had to turn left, and the road was rough.
So, May, why did you get this car?
I got this car for this road right here that we are on, so we can go to the darkest place in America.
So we pulled off a nice paved road onto this.
And we got about 2 more hours of it. The road was really tough, really sketchy.
All right, we're out in the middle of nowhere, and we have to go pretty slowly because this is a pretty rough road. So we're going to stay on this road for 13 miles.
We got 49 to go. We were driving through the middle of nowhere for hours. Hundreds of miles. I'm going to say at least 300 miles. Through the desert. Brown, little crunchy bushes everywhere. Cool rock formations.
May stopped and I picked up these rocks along this 13-mile leg. How long to go?
43 miles.
Wow.
We're
this for a long time. Wow, now we're kicking up some dirt. And this is what it looks like from the rear view mirror. Window. Now we're going through a gate, so the cows are getting a little nervous.
It's okay.
All right, May, so what happened now?
We made it off the really, really rough road, and I didn't pee my pants, so that's a plus. No cars, no structures, no signs, absolutely nothing.
In the middle of it, May said, "Of all the sketchy things that I've done, this is the sketchiest."
Right, we got off the gravel road. Now we're on a dirt road. 15 miles. Out in the middle of nowhere. 6.7 miles to go. Another slow road, but so far no rocks.
Except that one.
3.8 miles on this road. So we actually had to go through a closed gate. We decided to open it and go through it. Well, here we are. There's actually a building there. I probably won't sleep in there. May will probably sleep in her car. There's an outhouse surrounded by beautiful mountains. Beautiful little green outcropping up there. And we actually met two other people, two ladies, Amy and Jessica, working for Oregon State University, doing some botany studies out here.
We opened up the door, and two women came up.
And I just heard a voice saying, "People!" We talked to them for a little while. They were working for the Bureau of Land Management, documenting plant life. Two young women have probably the coolest, well, one of the coolest jobs ever.
Trying to decide where to camp.
What was the bunkhouse like?
It was pretty cool, but it was spider infested and mouse poop everywhere. There was a wood stove, a gas stove for cooking, some games, some things like bug spray and lotion, a case of water, chairs, two beds with memory foam mattresses, but they were full of dead bugs and mouse poop.
So you decided to sleep in your car.
Mhm.
I decided to pitch a tent.
With the cows.
There were cows everywhere. They had tags on them, so they weren't wild cows. And they were just kind of looking at us and come check us out. So I set up my tent, and then we pulled two chairs out. We felt a couple of drops of rain. So we picked up the chairs and put them underneath the awning. Then
It got a little windy. Very quickly, without warning, a huge gust of wind almost knocked me over. Sent the chairs flying probably 20 feet. Sent your bag that was at least probably 30 pounds. Tipped it over and dragged it across the ground. I got hit in the face with a bunch of sand. And your tent, which was partially well staked down, was flopping around in the air.
So I grabbed my bag, threw it inside the shed, and then we both went out, grabbed my tent, and we're trying to take it apart as this wind was just trying to knock us down. Finally got it inside. Later found out that the ladies who were working there had a tent not staked down very well, and it blew it way far away. They had to go get it. Took pictures of the sundown, hoping to see the stars in the Milky Way. Didn't see any. We ate supper in the dark, and there was some kind of rodent running around.
Listened to somebody trying to get into my car from the bottom of it.
I woke up at 3:45, put my clothes on and got out of the tent. You were waking up at the same
I
time.
had the same exact thought. We came out here to see the stars. Might as well get up and look and see if they're there.
So we took those same 2 chairs, set them up, and looked for stars. We saw a few,
Yeah.
took a few pictures, but didn't see much. All right, let's go to California. 99, take us to California. We're in Nevada now. The ladies who worked there gave us directions to a shorter way out.
Which actually was the directions I had. It was the way going west, but we came from the east. Because we weren't sure if it took us as long to get to a gas station as it did from the last gas station to where we wouldn't have made it. Forgot to get gas in the city or the town in California that we stopped at.
Yep. It is Sunday at 9:05 a.m. going north and northwest. So on the west side, trees, the mountains have trees. It's still kind of desert, the mountains. But there's definitely a transition in the landscape.
We passed a couple of motorcyclists who we ended up catching up with at a gas station in a really small town, and they were they from Oregon?
I do remember where we finally stopped to get gas, their internet didn't work.
Right, the cards wouldn't work.
Using cards is kind of hit and miss around here, and if it was a miss, so I think I paid cash.
Oh, Pyramid Lake. Do you remember Pyramid Lake? It was a lake with a big white hill in the middle of it.